Did it say that? I
No,
don't think it says
I'm
that.
just so used to it that I have to say it now.
Right, right on, right on.
Welcome to
believe
the
we're
Porch
live.
of Static, whoever is watching in the recorded version of this.
Right, there you go. Yes. So, and that
We
is
will-
something we know that we get more, we get a lot of the viewers after. Oh, this is my watch just telling me that the House of Static is live. So I
Oh,
like
that's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
I wish
bing
my
that.
watch talked to me.
Well,
But
with the watch, it's
I don't
the
have one.
it's the Apple Watch. I'm historically don't wear watches. I didn't forever and ever because, hippie, don't want to be directed by time on my, but then I got this and I love it. 'Cause I had a Fitbit and I was using that, to be fit for a bit. And
I
then
wanted.
I got this one.
What's funny is my phone. You know the part in the phone that like tells how many steps you've taken a day.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Mine tells me how many I've taken in a day. That doesn't make any sense because it's 0.
Yeah, they
Like,
base it
what?
on, I don't know, your heart rate or your movements or whatever. Right?
Oh, so all the caffeine tricks my phone into thinking that I'm
I
walking.
guess. Yeah, I
Right.
guess, I don't know. But then other times it knows what you're doing. Like I'll go on my kayak and it knows, it'll be like, it looks like you're kayaking. Like my watch will tell me. I'm like, well,
What the
yeah, no
fuck?
shit. But how do you know? Or the elliptical.
Thank
Yeah.
you
or
for
I got-
telling me, but how the
Exactly,
fuck
yeah.
did you find out?
Yeah.
Where
But,
are you?
and then we have an elliptical too. I do the elliptical sometime, because I'm super healthy. And anyway, it does the same thing. It'll be like, it looks like you're on the elliptical. Do you want us to record that as an exercise? And I was like, hell yeah. I'm gonna get
Hell
credit
yes,
for
I do.
all the credit I can get.
Right, exactly. I think it's so funny how buff my new promo pictures look on my Spotify when I'm not
They're
really
awesome.
that buff. Anybody who's watching, it's just that I'm leaning forward, like on my, like I have my legs like this, like my, well, you can't see, but my arms, I'm leaning on my leg.
Right,
So
right.
then when it's
You do have a couple,
blacked
yeah.
out shirt and a
Let's see.
white, like
Hold
white
on.
arms, it actually looks like I'm just like super fucking like a
Hold on.
gorilla.
We're gonna look at Buff Kilo here.
Oh God. Okay,
This is the warm up here, right? So this is like because we've learned that we chatter for a few minutes before people join.
Yeah, we're
because
just wasting
nobody's
time.
there.
If you want, you can fast forward the video right now until we're talking about something that.
No, we're gonna do fun stuff right now. Hold on a second.
Okay,
So I'm gonna
fun stuff time.
share. I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna share.
I like
the
fun
to the
stuff.
house. Yeah, there you go. So you can narrate your. Do you
There's
see the
me.
screen?
Well, I don't know why it says 400 on yours and 200 on mine. How did
What
you
do you-
make me
what-
have more monthly listeners?
What
in-
are you talking about? Oh,
When I look at
11,000.
it on my computer today, it said 280.
Well, maybe
One-
you had more listeners today. So
It
it's
only
gone up.
updated in the morning. I would know.
Well,
That's my
yeah,
morning
yeah, right,
routine
right.
to look at it.
But it's I don't know, maybe it's because of the time difference, maybe it updated later. Maybe you looked at it before the
Oh,
update and then
maybe.
it updated later or whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows?
maybe.
Who knows?
So
Anyway,
the point
this
of
is your-
us
this is
showing
the
that,
kilo, right.
I look super buff in that not that picture.
Not that
one
one.
at the top.
Yeah, yeah. I can't
In that
actually
I look like
I can't
super
like close
buff.
in on it, but you can see, yeah, your arms are all badass.
But that's because I'm leaning forward like this.
You
And
do
the
it the
shirt's
thing where-
black. So it
Do what
makes
they-
it's funny. I love it. I think I didn't do that on purpose to look buff. It's just the
Right, right.
angle. I was like, what? I didn't look. When did I look like that? What did I forget?
You
What
look
happened?
badass, dude.
Where
looks
did it
very-
go?
Very badass.
I've just been a pretty skinny person for years and years of the unhealthy ness.
Yeah,
mean-
I'm getting skinny again because of a few years of healthiness after many years of
See, that's funny.
unhealthiness.
It's like the opposite for me.
Yeah,
But I'm healthy
Yeah.
now, but before I wasn't because I almost died.
I've never been like fat but I mean I've lost about 10 pounds in the last year, 2 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of stopped drinking a while back. That can
I
help.
quit drinking 6 years ago, and that definitely helped. Actually, my anniversary is coming up very soon.
That's awesome.
August 24th. It'll be 6 years that I quit drinking.
Oh, dude, I'm proud of you. Very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
I almost
Uh,
made it to 6 years of being off of opiates the first time, but then I almost died. So then I
Wow.
had to, physically had to, they made me, like
Mhm.
it wasn't an option. But I luckily went right to methadone, not opiates.
Right.
I refused,
Well,
and they were like, "You can't leave the hospital without being
why?
on something," because I had like still had staples in my side and shit, like not side, but in my my side right here. Like they
Right.
had to like not staples. It was like this weird like cross stitch thing that like, and then the lady messed up, and then when I went to the doctor to get him taken out, he actually had to dig into my skin. He said, "I'm very sorry for this." It was the same guy who took my lung out, or lung part of my lung out. And he's like, "I'm very sorry for this, but I'm gonna have to do this." And he was like, "Are you okay?" And which I was not. It hurt, but I just acted like, yeah, because he had to do it. And he had to dig into me to take him out because he put him in like reverse. So the tie was inside me. Good
That's a
job.
horrible story.
Mm, It's life, dude. I'm glad that I have an immense pain tolerance.
I'm
So,
glad. Well, it's too bad that you have to, but I'm glad that you do. Yeah.
well, I
Um.
mean, me point being like pain, I feel it, but like a lot of pain doesn't register the same in my brain. So it's
Right. Right.
fine. Like I felt that it hurt, but it wasn't
Mm.
like bothering me, but it was like bleeding, and they were like, "We're so sorry," and I was just
Mm.
like, "Just get it over."
Right. Right.
The end. So he's such a cool doctor. He was such a
Cool.
cool doctor because he had gotten pneumonia and been in that same hospital before and like almost died or something too. So like he knew what it was like. So
Right.
having gone through that before, he had a lot of sympathy to me. Meaning like, for instance, they were supposed to have to take my nose ring out. Like
Mm-hmm. I
in
would see. Yeah.
like policy, like had to take out all jewelry and stuff to do
Yeah.
surgery or whatever. But he vetoed that because like I said the only thing I don't want to do is take this out because my friend Ronnie, who is my first dead friend, he
Mhm.
won the prize. He died first. He got
Mhm.
first place finally in something. Um he's the one who put that into my nose whenever I got the bigger size. And I was like,
Right.
I'm not taking this out. I'll just let my lung rot off if I
Right.
have to. I didn't say it like that, but he was
Right.
really nice about it. He was like, "That's fine, like it's okay," because he understood like what it's like to be kind. He didn't almost die like me, but like it was good that I had a doctor that got what it's like to have, you know,
That's
pneumonia
awesome, man.
and how sucky it is. So
Right.
he was
Oh,
great.
it's
I always made fun of him, Doctor Coat Rat.
right.
Yep.
So we should acknowledge why you're on the porch.
Welcome to the porch of static.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kilo's on the porch. So if you've ever watched, ever never watched us do this, whatever this is, if you've never seen us do it before, I'm Bob and I'm in New York, and Kilo is Kilo and he's in Los Angeles. And
Kilo is kilo, just in case you
Kilo's
didn't.
Kilo, and
Yeah.
he's in Los Angeles. And I don't know, so that's what we do. And then Kilo and I would make music together, and we're once a week we talk live on the internet for no particular reason, just because we like doing it. So
Yeah.
and we have a record label, and we work with a bunch of different artists, and we do all kinds of fun things. And so today Kilo is on his balcony outside of his apartment, and the reason for that is well, do you want to tell the reason? Why don't you tell the reason why you on the
Well, no.
balcony?
Okay. So we I'll tell you why we did this in a second, but I had sent a picture of like me listening to one of our artist songs, King Matt Black, a song that we did with him on my porch watching the sunset, and then he like posted on his
You sent it,
Instagram.
you sent a video, a
Yeah,
video
yeah.
from your phone, and then I put it on the Static Dive Instagram as a reel with that song, with the King Matt Black song, which was Candles Under Streetlights. And
Yes.
then a lot of people watched it. It was like got like 5,000 views. It was pretty cool. And then so we did it again this morning. We put up one for Beautiful Division, which got a couple thousand views, I think, too. Did really well, and it was a
Mhm.
lot of fun, and it's really pretty videos and beautiful music. So there
Yes.
you go. So we did that. So Kilo was
So
like, we should do this. He's like, why are you doing this on your Static Dive page, Instagram? We've got a House of Static Instagram. And I said,
it's
that's
not
a really good
exactly
point.
how I said it, but that's
No, but he's right anyway. So we should be doing it on there. So there you go. So now Kilo, take it. Why are you on the porch?
so we will be posting on our we will be doing LA sunset videos pretty much every day, whenever Bob posted, hopefully every day. Because I live in wonderful California, and I will explain this to you after I say one really cool thing is this porch I'm sitting on right now. Years ago, when I moved to this apartment complex, I always saw people sitting out on this exact porch, and I always thought to myself, like, I want to live there someday. Sitting right where I am is where they had like a big chair here and a big chair there, and they would sunbathe with this like mirror things. They were
Right.
older folks. They'd always be sitting out here, and I'd be like, I want to live there, and now I do, which is amazing to me.
How do you get rid of them?
I maybe I'm not gonna be rude, but maybe COVID. I don't know. I mean, I think it was vacant for a while,
Right.
which it worked out really well for me because my like home studio is right here, and
Mhm.
the wall behind it is the internet like box room for my level floor of the apartment building.
Right.
So I don't have to worry about pissing someone off with loud music because the kid that lives below me, it's a kid that lives in the room, and like he is decently nice about like not being mad that it's kind of loud sometimes. So
Right.
it works out. So
Oh, cool.
what was I gonna tell? Oh yeah, I was gonna tell why the sunset
Why you're on the
is so
balcony?
important. Why?
Yeah.
Why I'm on the balcony? I am on the balcony because I don't want to miss the sunset.
Well, there you
This
go.
is the true reason why I'm on the balcony.
That's right.
But once again, if you watched our this thing last week,
Mhm.
you heard me tell about how much that Lucifer show affected me in that one episode. Now we're back and we're gonna talk about that again. If you haven't seen the show, you should watch it. It's not what you think. You're not gonna become a fucking, you're not going to hell if you watch it. Whatever. If you believe in hell.
Mhm.
But there was this one episode where like it's gonna be a little gruesome, but it's okay, it's worth it. This one guy like gets caught by them, and he knows that Lucifer can like have you tell him the truth if he like stares you in the eyes. He says like, "What do you truly desire?" And then you'll tell him like, so he can find out if you're like the bad murderer person,
Mm.
because it's like a cop show kind of thing. But this one guy like knew that, so he actually in the interrogation room like jabbed his own eyes out, right? And then Lucifer said just a background comment. He was just kind of like, how sad would it be to live in LA and not be able to enjoy the sunset? And I was like, I'm gonna tear up. That's such a good fucking thing because I was like, God, fuck. I had this beautiful porch that I wanted for the sun and for the sunset. And yet I've been so wrapped up in my life and in my stresses and my whatever stupid shit that I live in LA and don't enjoy the sunset. Like
Yeah.
I don't anymore. It's like it was so profound to me because it was like it's not just someone that cuts their eye or whatever he did with his eyes. Like it's people who live so much in their head that they can't take 10 minutes or 2 seconds to look at the sunset and like
Right.
appreciate.
And
So
and to be fair, I mean, the truth is that's all of us at some point
right.
or another, And
Yeah.
and I've mentioned this. Kilo was telling me just earlier, and I've mentioned this story to him, and I think I might have told it here before, but I don't know, maybe not. I
No,
don't
you
remember.
haven't because that was the first time I ever heard it.
Right. So, um, my dad, who passed away about 5 years ago, he and I were very close, and I love him very much. And he when I was working, I got a job. This is the job I had before I quit my job, the job I quit to do
Yeah.
what I do now. um when I got that job 16 years ago, it was an hour away from my house. It still is. It's an hour. I commuted for an hour both ways, so I drive 2 hours every day. But I live in upstate New York. I live in the Adirondacks. It's absolutely gorgeous here, right? It's a beautiful place with and it's trees. It's just trees and mountains and lakes everywhere. So you can just literally can't turn around without seeing some beautiful scenery if you look. And so that's the thing. And so my dad said, he commuted that for years, that same path, and his advice to me was just simply, he said, just don't forget to look at the trees. And
Right.
I was like, all right, sure, whatever, Dad. I was like 35 years old. I'm like, okay,
Whatever, man.
yeah. And then I started going on that route, and I'd be smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee and swearing at people and be like, "Ah, leave," you know, and then I just kind of catch myself and go, I'd hear my dad. I'd be like, "Don't forget to look at the trees."
Right.
And and I told him, because I mean, he just passed away 5 years ago. So I mean, I told him that story, how it helped me. And it's really true. It'll little. I mean, you can't meditate when you're driving or you'll die, but it's a little, but it's a cool kind of
True.
reset in your brain where you can
Well,
just kind
it's
of go,
kind of like
"Ooh."
walking, right? Like walking meditation, for instance, because technically meditation isn't like just sitting and breathing. Meditation is like your mind being focused on one singular thing.
Right.
Well, yeah, so
Right.
you would run into a tree probably. I'm wrong. Never mind. Don't listen to me, people. Do
Well,
not meditate and drive.
but to your point, I mean, the meditating is really just a focusing of the mind.
Right.
And you can do that to some degree and still be conscious of driving and everything else. It's just a matter of like shutting off the distractions. It's actually better,
Right.
if the focus, your focus is driving, you know what I mean? Whatever, but it's getting rid of the noise so you can
Well, I
appreciate
mean,
the
we've
moment.
talked about meditation on here a lot, right? But we never really talked to the people about like why would you want to meditate also, and how do you meditate, right? We always mention it because we know what meditation is, we know why it matters and why it's good, but we've never explained it. So I mean, why don't we just explain it real fast? Just like we've explained what a DAW is, we've explained musical things all the time, and yet as an artist, I find that meditation is a very, very productive thing. And sometimes I feel like I'm meditating when I'm writing a song. When I'm in that place where like my brain literally is just the computer, like it's just one thing happening, it becomes meditation for me.
Right.
I really do believe what I said earlier, which is, meditation can be lots of different things. Like,
Sure.
for
Yeah.
instance,
Oh, go ahead.
anything that you can do that clears your mind. And when I say clears your mind, your brain is not going to be void of thought or you die. So that's a problem. We need to check on you. But it's something where all the background, let's put it this way, it's something where all the background noise of life goes away. It just
Mhm.
drowns into the distance. So I found, and I have also heard this, that when you first start meditating, and Bob can tell me if I'm right about this for him, when you are first start meditating, first time you've ever meditated, and maybe the first week or month, you have all these crazy thoughts come to your head, right? Like things you didn't remember, and you might cry, you might get anxiety. I got anxiety the first time,
Mhm.
like, because your brain is not used to shutting out distractions and just dealing with itself. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits is your brain kind of unpollutes itself by not having the distractions that we do, like when you're watching this right now. We are your
Right.
distraction right now.
Yeah,
You're
right.
watching this like once it's recorded, you're
Mhm.
doing what we're talking about, and that's fine, and we appreciate it. And there's a blinking light in the background, Bob. Is there aliens at your house? What in the shit? What is that? Are there cops at your house, bro? Um, I don't know if I like this.
What the hell?
If he gets swept up by aliens, it's
That's weird, man.
what was that?
I don't know. I gotta go
Um,
check.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna keep talking. Now that that freaky thing happened, um, I'm gonna try to figure out what I was talking about. Yes. So when you first start, it's like when all the distractions are gone, you're gonna end up dealing with certain things that you've just kind of hidden away from yourself because your brain is very good at like kind of focusing on the things that like are right in front of you as a distraction so that you don't have to deal with the harder thing. So when you kind of sit quietly and learn to meditate, which I'll explain what meditation is in a second in more detail, you will have to deal with those things. And one of the good practices is like have a pad and paper beside you, right? And when those crazy emotions come, well, the light's being crazy now. When those crazy emotions come to the forefront, just kind of take the pad and paper and like write down what the emotion was, right? And then where you feel it physically in your body, because emotions will manifest physically. So if you write that, for instance, like for me, like anxiety was in my chest. So I wrote down like I'm feeling anxious and I'm feeling it in my chest. Sorry, Bob's back.
Yeah. You know,
What's that?
I don't think that flashing light is actually happening. Like it's not happening
What?
I don't think it's happening outside. I think it's just on the screen. It's really
This is
weird.
crazy because it came
Yeah.
back when you were gone.
It's very strange.
That's strange. Maybe it's a distraction that's trying to teach us what a distraction is.
I don't know what it is.
It's okay, bro. Don't worry about it. As long as it's not cops at your house. What did you do, Bob? What did you do?
I know it was like a white light flashing.
That was crazy, right?
Yeah.
That was weird. Anyways, I was explaining to them that you will get weird emotions and things when you start meditating. I was just explaining the whole pad and paper thing. I don't know if you did this, Bob, but like if you have like a pad and paper beside you, you can at first when you start meditating, when you feel this thing, kind of write down like what you feel and where it came from. Like where you physically in your body you feel it and what emotion it is. And that seems to have a really good impact of you being able to identify your emotions, which then you can use this in the real world. When you feel angry, you go like, oh shit, I know I feel angry because I feel it in my angry place, and then you're like, okay, why am I feeling angry? Why am I truly feeling? Because I think, Bob, do you agree that meditation really is like a practice fight or like a sparring match for training you to deal with life? Like it's you kind of learning how to deal with when things arise in life.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, there are different versions of meditation. I mean, meditation is, most people think of meditation, they'll think of like transcendental meditation. They'll think of, Buddhist or Hindu meditation, sitting
Right.
cross-legged on the floor and dome, namaste and all that.
Right.
And I mean, that is, that's what I think of most of the time too, right? But the truth is that there's, whether it's prayer or meditation, there is a version of this, right? This sort of like higher elevated sort of mental state where you're in touch with whatever divinity that you're down with. And, they all have it. And it's, and I don't know what the purpose for everyone is, right? But I would say that, like for me, like you mentioned, the process of learning how to meditate and everything else, and I was terrible at it. I couldn't do it for a long, long time because I have really terrible ADHD. So I would sit there and I would always think things like that, like, oh, you have to clear your mind, and I would that's just not possible at all. You know what I mean? unless I'm unconscious or, under the influence.
I could clear my mind. Go.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's exactly right. Hence the,
exactly.
There's the rub. So, so anyway, so I never could do it. And it drove me crazy because I was always, thinking of myself as a kind of spiritual guy and Taoist and all this business. But for, 20 years, I tried to meditate and couldn't. And then I realized that it wasn't that at all. And it was really just, you can't clear your mind. There's no point in clearing your mind. What you're doing is you're just quieting your mind, That's really what I learned is that. So with me, I'll focus on a single thing. Maybe it's a piece of music, or maybe it's just a light. Maybe I close my eyes and see a light in my brain and just focus on that. You know what I mean? I do a lot of things like that.
See a light in your brain. What?
Yeah, well, I'm a weird guy, and
I want that to happen.
Yeah.
Damn.
So anyway, so you just, but I mean, then just kind of focus on that. You know what I mean? And
it's called an anchor. It's called an
Right.
anchor pop.
There you go. Yeah, as with everything that I've ever done in my life, I just learned by trial and error. So I never
Right,
know the
sure.
right names for anything.
I at least in Zen meditation, it's called an anchor. What it doesn't,
I'm sure. Yeah.
what it's called doesn't
Right.
fucking matter.
That's like when you have the triangle
Sure.
or whatever.
Or the candle that you stare
Right.
at the flame. You know,
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
The
Yeah.
Vulcans did it too. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
With the candle.
well,
That's it. They used to do.
apparently I am
Spock would use the
Vulcan
candle.
by Bob's standards, so that's okay.
Yeah, Vulcan's a good thing to be.
Oh, I agree 100%. It is a wonderful thing to be.
Right on.
You know,
So anyway,
as long as you can accept it.
So despite the very strange, mysterious light that was behind me, which is really that's gonna freak me out. I'm gonna go back and look at this.
It
video
is
like
freaking
100
me
times.
out because it came back when I said the same exact thing I had said. It came back,
You said,
and you
what
can when
was
you
it?
watch. I don't remember, but when you watch the video, you're gonna be like, "Oh wait, that's weird." It was kind of strange.
Yeah, that's very strange.
Everyone
There's
else
nothing
is just
back there.
rewinding it right now.
Like, yeah, the thing is, there's nothing back there.
Did
Like
you
that-
not see
my-
it in real life?
I didn't. I don't know if I saw it. It's at the window or just on the screen. But there's nothing back there. Like behind my house is just woods. I mean, it's like 10 acres of woods. There's nothing.
Yeah, that would
back
be
there.
so scary to think someone's out
It's-
there like shining lights in your window.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little freaky. I mean, there are cars that it could be a car. It could have been a car, I guess. I mean, because there's on the other side of the house, like you could get a reflection. There's like a window here and a window there. So it could be that, but that was weird anyway.
I'm pretty sure it was like in the thing because when you move the curtain and the light was blinking or whatever, we didn't see it more. So
Right. Okay.
whatever. It's okay. We're not dead yet. So
Right.
that's
No. Well, yeah. Well, you wouldn't be. I mean, it'd just be me.
no,
All right. And my kid, but
well, yeah.
but anyway, so so we covered why you're here on the porch, but so what we do right on this show is these questions that we do. Do you want to explain the questions?
Oh,
situation?
well, when we do
Or are we not
the-
ready for that?
when we do the actual podcast version of this,
Mm-hmm.
which we have many episodes you can go back and watch and then rewind to the end like everyone else so that you can see the questions. We do this thing where when our guest is on the show, we each ask a random question and every single person has to answer even their own question. And then we each ask did I say industry question or random question?
I think
We each ask a random question and we each ask an industry question. And so that you can get to know the artist that's on the show. You get to know a thing they like or a technique, and you also get to know about. So what we've been doing on the live streams nowadays is we kind of talk random talk like this. And then
There you
we
the
show
question.
music that we've worked on this week, which we are also
That's
about
right.
to do.
That's
we're
right. we
about
gotta
to do.
that.
And then we ask the random question and we have some fun and ask
Okay.
some silly things and talk
So
about.
you're right. So I forgot about that part. So before we do the questions,
They
we're gonna
don't.
do some new music.
Yes.
I forgot.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Amazing. But what's wonderful about this, guys, this week, and this is happening one other week, and that song is actually like number 6 hardstyle track on this random weird website we found that helps you like connect with labels and other producers. And right now we're number 6, Bob, by the way.
Nice.
Out
On
of-
which
out of-
which song are you
Like
talking
out of
about?
the top 100, Breathe is number
Breathe, right,
6 on
okay.
the top
Breathe is
hardstyle
yeah.
track.
Breathe we played last week, I think, right? Or 2 weeks ago. I don't remember.
They actually, if you want to go back and watch the episodes, there's numerous episodes of us writing it. So there's an episode where Bob hears it for the first time, and it's not called Breathe yet. Then there's the
Right.
next episode where Bob was sad because he had to give a dog back to their rightful owner.
Oh,
and
man,
so-
wow. Oh,
And so,
why'd you have to bring that up? That's
because I'm telling them.
I
And
know.
so I put random samples in that he had sent me for certain song purposes. So I put the silly in it. And then the next week or the week after, we showed the real version that's the actual
That's
version
right.
that's going to come out. So that was the
That's
first time we did this. Then we actually premiered my new song,
Breathe.
Need for Speed.
Oh yeah, Delirium, right?
Delirium. I can never remember that word. Delirium. Need for Speed Delirium. We premiered that, which that song is fucking dope. Go listen to it. And then now we're going to show something I'm really excited to be working on, really proud of. Why don't you explain to them, Bob, where the fuck it first originated? Because fucking
Yeah.
Liddy lit.
Yeah. Well, here you go. Yeah. You know what? I'll do one better even. Hold on a second.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so the song tentatively is called Today. It probably is going to be called Today. Kind of like
I'm pretty
the
sure.
way it's going. Yeah, it's a very
Because that kind of
positive
matches
thing.
my whole Enjoy the Sunset vibe
Right on, right on.
that I'm
That's
dealing
a
with
good
right
point.
now.
Yeah.
We should
It's very-
explain why this matters so much to me, but we did not. My whole
Well, you talked about the
well, my
Lucifer
other
connection.
than that, the life-changing document or science thing I watched, but they don't have to know that if you don't.
Okay. Whatever you want, my friend. All right, let's see. But I want to find the original.
It's cool because when I blow the vape out, the camera kind of unfocuses so you can actually see the sunset.
Yeah.
Watch,
Oh, yeah,
watch
yeah.
this, Bob. Watch.
That's awesome. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
It's
Oh, that's
so
nice. Look at that. That's
beautiful,
groovy.
bro. So
pretty cool.
fucking beautiful, dude.
All right. So quickly, right? What we're talking about here as far as the song goes, there's a song called Today that I wrote a very long time ago. And I know I say that a lot, but it's
Now, all of this, most of this shit, including the chords for Breathe, which is probably one of the best songs I've worked on, other than this new one. I know I say that every week, and I promised last week I would not say that
Right.
again, but I'm going to. But I mean, we've been starting to do that, right, Bob? Where this one really though, we took the whole concept and
So,
EDMified the concept.
right, exactly. So I mean, I've always done this when I write, because I write a lot, and I just kind of spew out a bunch of stuff all really fast, and then I'll go back to, so like in a month I'll write like 50 song ideas, and then
Right.
I'll go back. I'll go back to the song ideas for years afterwards, and I still, sometimes I go back 6 months, sometimes I go back 30 years, and that's what this
Right.
one was. So for instance, the song that Keela was talking about, the Breathe, that's relatively new. I wrote that I think in 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. That's when I wrote those chords.
So fucking good.
Right. But this one, Today, the original version I wrote in 1990, and it was with my band. Back then I had my two best friends, and I'm still, I mean, Todd and Matto are they're like my brothers. So I've grown up with these two guys. Todd is the bass player that I play with in every band I'm in, and with my little duo that I do, and with my band Shoe, and with our band The Distractions. And Matto, my buddy Matto, was the drummer in The Distractions. And anyway, so back in 1990, we went through a few different names. We were the Reebs for a while, which was
The
beer
Reebs?
backward. Reeb, beer backwards is Reeb, R-E-E-B.
Reed, that's my
The
middle
Reebs.
name.
No, not Reed with a D. Reed with a B.
Oh,
Reeb.
but if you
So-
put it backwards, it is a D, bro. In my
No,
brain.
beer. No, beer.
I know.
Like
if
beer.
you put a B backwards, it's a D.
No, the word is the letters backwards. R-E-E-B instead of B-E-R. That's a B-E-E-R.
Okay.
Anyway, so we were the Reebs, and then we were the Mother Jokes, which was a stupid name, but
That's a great one.
it was because we used to make mother jokes. So we used to make fun of each other's mothers all the time.
I
'cause we were
love that.
assholes. So this was actually when we were called the Mother Jokes. We did this song. So what I'll do is
I was in a band called Robots in Pretty Dresses until
nice. I
the
like
promoter at a show was like,
Mhm.
you really need. This is when branding became a thing to me. This is amazing. I never remembered this. This promoter girl, I was actually at a show watching a band called Heavy Heavy Low Low, which is an amazing kind of almost post-hardcore band, like really wonderful band who I did naughty things with. We shot fireworks like out into the street in downtown Tulsa. Whoops. And then hid in their van. Anyways, so she comes up to me and she's like talking to me because she knows the band, and then she's like, "What's the band name now?" And then I told her, and she was like, you guys really need to think about, like, no, maybe she had booked us with that name before, actually. whatever. She gave me this big speech of you're a good band, but the name is the very first thing, the very first impression people have of you. So just
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah,
like-
that's true. The problem with it is that is, you know, the opinion people have of names like
Right.
is wrong sometimes. So like a cool name, some record company schmo might be like, that's not a cool, that's a stupid name, you know, and then you've just
Right.
destroyed a cool brand. But
right,
and I
right.
could tell a story about that, but I won't. But I've
You
been
can.
part of
That's
that
what the
happened. That was-
podcast is about.
well, back in the day when I worked in the music business the first time, I would say the band name or anything, but there was a band with a cool name, and the record label made them. We got them signed to a major record label, and the record label made them change it to something far less cool. That's all. I don't want to say their names because they're
Okay.
people, you know. But anyway, they sold 1 million albums, million albums.
Maybe
Wow.
changing the name worked then.
Yeah, yeah. I guess there you go. That's a good point. The band was
mean-
called the name they changed to was Crossfade. The name of the band was Crossfade. So
That's a
they
good
didn't
name.
complain. I don't believe they complained about the name. It was just me that didn't like the name change. So you know, it was probably a
Right.
good idea.
And I mean, that's because you knew the band, I guess, and knew like kind of the name and the
I know. I
backstory.
just
But
thought
you
the
have to
name was cool.
understand, like, if it doesn't, if you're starting your own music or band or whatever right now, you have to keep in mind it either has to be completely the opposite of what you would think that genre would be named, or exactly like in the wheelhouse of that genre.
Right.
You know, or have a
Right.
very significant meaning that you can back up, you know. But
Right.
like if you're just gonna robots in pretty dresses doesn't have any connotation to anything. So
Right.
it's not something where your brain will go, I'm gonna click on that. That's gonna
Right.
be a deathcore band for sure, you know.
All
So
right,
that's what
okay.
she explained.
Right on. All right. So back to the reason we started talking about that is because I had a
Yes.
stupid band name called the Mother Jokes in 1990.
I still
and we
love
wrote-
it because I think
and we
you're gonna
did-
say motherfuckers and then
Right,
you say
so-
jokes.
So the song is okay, and I really loved the chord change a lot when I wrote this, even back then. And I've got a handful of these songs where, you know, I've written hundreds of songs over the years, but I got like a dozen that I know are good. You know what I mean? That I know I really think should exist, you
Yeah.
know, now and in the future. And this was one of them. Never even made it on any album. Never did it with a band beyond this demo
Mhm.
tape. It was just this one recording. We played it one time, and I don't remember playing it live. And I always thought it was great. So here, I'm gonna
One thing I
share it.
would love to do after you share that is explain to them, since I know some of our audience is producers, how you take a song like this and make it into an EDM track.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I'm sure they have old songs that they wrote when they were in a band or something, and it'd be really good knowledge to give people of this is really an easy method to do that, because we do that
Right.
very well and we do it all the time.
Right on. Okay,
So-
cool. That's a good point. So anyway, I'll play just a bit of the beginning of this song. So
Yeah.
this is the original version. Do you see it?
Well,
Okay.
we see the player.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Does it sound okay?
Yeah. I still love it like that.
It's a good song.
Something feels different today.
So this
About time on my way.
so that's the
I really
original
do
version.
like that so much, that version. I like both versions.
I like that version
That's so
too.
sick. That version's so sick. It feels
That's
so vibey. It matches the vibe of my sunset with
That's
me. you
great,
know.
man. Maybe I'll record a rock version of it
We
too.
should do both. We should do
Yeah, but so that one that's like my buddy's basement in 1990. That's where we were, and Matto's basement. And that's where we did everything back then. So that was that version of it. So what I did, before we play the new one,
Yeah, why don't we
I'll do
explain to
what
them the
I'll do what
process?
Kilo. So
Yeah.
that song is just, it's a really simple. See if I'm in tune this time. Last time I got my guitar, I was way out of tune. Sounds
We
pretty good.
can't, we can't hear it at all.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No, 0%.
Ah, let's see if we can get the mic a little closer.
Put it in front of the mic. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just kind of dip the mic down a little bit. So, can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
actually
the ori-
better, surprisingly.
Right. Oh,
Whatever.
that's funny. The original is in E minor, and it's just an E minor. It's E minor 7, so it's like this. So it's that. It's the whole thing. Whole song just is that repeated. So it's E minor 7th, D 9th. It's like a B minor, but with like the E ringing out. I don't know what you would call it. And then C, and then the E minor 7th, D 9th, that weird B minor again, and then G. So it's that circular. And it's just a great, catchy, little,
Yeah.
chord change, and it just gets stuck in your head and just keeps going in a circle. And I loved it. And anyway, I never did
Before
anything
you
with
keep
it.
going, Bob, can I ask you, can you give me a guitar track of the acoustic for our version, our EDM version? I want to see if it'll sound good in it. Not right
Yeah,
this
that's
second,
cool. Right.
but I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that would be dope. I just thought of that. Okay, so back to what we were saying. So let's tell the people the process,
So,
because this one is
yeah,
a very simple process.
Right. So I knew what was good about that song was the chord progression. That's
Yes.
what's good. I mean, the whole thing, it's nice, but there's not much more to it than that. It's just that
Right.
dan, 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 dan. And it was good. So I
Bound,
played
bound,
it.
bound, bound.
Right. So I've been kind of on a house music kick lately. Writing Keelan
My
and I do a
name
lot
is
of
House, so I'm
yeah,
always
right,
on
yeah.
that kick.
Yeah, I love house music, and we've been doing a lot of EDM. And my brain, just when I start working on EDM, it just kind of gravitates toward house because I just like
Right.
I like that 4 on the floor kick drum, and I love that. I just love it. I love the old groove. So and I figured the house music, great house music, is basically that beat with a cool chord progression. You know what I mean? And then somebody
Right.
singing like, you know what I mean? And then so I just figured I'd give it a shot. Keela was talking about, because what made me think of it really was, Keela, one of the things you were talking about, you weren't even talking about house music. You were like talking about hard style stuff, and you're like, they play a lot of 7th chords and minor 7th. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, and I thought of today, and I was like, this first chord is an E minor 7th, and it's very
Right.
much that vibe through the whole song. So I was like, hey, well, that's cool. So I started doing it, but then it turned into a house song. So
So
it's
was
not
it
that.
at that same tempo that we're writing it at?
I don't
Originally?
know. That was like, well, I mean, that's just us jamming
Okay.
in the basement. So I don't know. It's probably about. It sounds pretty fast.
So one
that's probably right.
mystical thing about this track is it's a house song at 150, which if you know
Right.
music or
House should be
even
like
like more
132,
EDM,
something like
it's
that.
between well, it's between 120, which would be deep house, and like 132, which would be big room or some just house,
Right.
like disco house, whatever. Oh,
Right.
disco house is like 128 or something, but by the way, you can use any tempo you want. We've used crazy stupid tempos and stuff like that. But what's
Yep.
really strange about this is that 150, yet to me, my ear, it just sounds right. It sounds at a house tempo. One
they
thing
haven't-
Bob did not mention.
They haven't heard that version yet. Well,
They
yeah,
are
yeah, go
going
ahead.
to.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
thing Bob did not mention is that we also put it into F sharp rather than E, right? It was in
That's
E.
right. Well, that was the
That's
thing. Yeah.
one
So,
of part of the process of what I want to tell them is how to do
Right.
this and why you do this and
right.
so on.
So exactly. So as one thing, this is interesting in a lot of ways, right? So one thing that when in the last year and a half or so that Keela and I've been writing songs together, one of the things that I realized is I've always written in like every key. I just write in like
Right.
I'll intentionally write like an album with every song in a different key, just because I want it to be, I want variation, and I never think about it. I never think about what key I sing in. I don't even know. I still don't. After 30 years
Right.
of singing, I don't really know what key is my best key to sing in. Probably A. I don't know. I don't really. D maybe.
D is I always like your songs in D. Yeah.
Handle on the Sun is in D. So
Yeah,
that's
I
what
know.
sing is in D.
I know. I work.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I don't know, but so I never pay much attention to the key, or if anything, I pay a lot of attention to it, and I intentionally, go in all different keys. Anyway,
Right.
EDM music likes to be in a couple of different keys, basically because that's where you get the best bass drop. You know what I mean? In a
Yes,
couple of,
thank
like,
you. I was hoping you would explain that, right? Yes, that's
right,
correct.
right. Thank you. So F sharp, it's got a nice bass drop in F sharp.
F sharp, yeah.
Right. So anyway, so I just transposed the song up
What is transposed?
a step, just changing key.
Right,
So
right.
So the key, the chord changes E minor 7th, D 9th, B minor, and then C. So what I did is I just bumped it up. So then it goes to, what's it go? Now I'm going to test myself. F sharp minor 7th, and then E 9th, right? And then D, and or no, and then not a B minor, C sharp minor, and then
Right.
D, and then back around, and then landing on an A.
So point
So
being is if you
that's
have
the-
written a really good chord progression years ago, play it into your piano scroll on whatever DAW you're using, and then just bump it up to whatever key you want it in.
Oh yeah, people
So
can't
that
really
then-
see that I'm playing.
Oh, I could. Well, I know what you were
the
doing.
keyboard here. So what I
Right.
was doing there is I'm like, okay, I transposed it from E minor to up to F sharp minor, you know what I mean? And that's what I was doing.
Yes.
So I just realized that people couldn't see my hands, and I'm just going like this. So anyway, yeah, that was the deal. So I turned it into I turned it into a keyboard song, into an EDM song. I started with a house beat, a fast house beat, as Kilo pointed out, and I think I was just matching the tempo of that original
Right.
rock version, and then I just ding 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 ding, and you'll hear it when I play it. It's just like ding ding, and I kind of tightened up the MIDI after I played it to make it more house.
Right.
Like I got rid of
Yeah.
where usually my inclination is to keep my kind of natural playing sound, because I play everything, right? I don't do
Right.
a lot of programming, so play the chords. But sometimes I'm telling, I know you know, so I'm kind of telling the
Oh, I
audience
know.
what I'm saying. But a lot of the EDM stuff it really sounds better, more robotic. You know what I mean?
It's
There are a
very
couple of,
staccato type of, yeah.
right, exactly. So that's what I did with those chords. I flattened out the velocity, so it's like louder. So you'll hear it's like it's a dotted. I think like you said, it's a dotted quarter note or whatever. It's a.
I think we figured out it's not dotted. It's like
I think
just
I was
8
wrong.
notes.
I think you were right that it is.
I was right.
So, yeah. Again,
I also
learned
think I
everything.
was right, but I didn't
I-
want to say it.
I learned everything by trial and error. As I
No,
said.
but so yeah, so he did that. He gave it to me with no bass line, and I actually, before I even heard like the files, I was like chilling in my bed watching something. He sent it to me, so I called him and I listened to the demo he sent me of just like his quick bounce down. And
With a
so I was
nice
like,
little-
dude,
that DX7 electric piano playing the chords. It was real
yeah.
nice.
Oh, that's actually sick. All right.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that would sound amazing, like with kind of a Melbourne bounce kind of bass line, right? Like the bum
Right,
bum
yeah.
bum. And so Bob, like on the spot, and you guys can use this as a template to how to do this with your friends and write stuff. Bob looked up that bass line on the spot, right? He looked up like top Melbourne bounce tracks or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he was like, that'll work. I can do that.
It's
And
just
then
it's just a disco bass line. It's a
Right.
octave, the booty 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 booty,
and it worked
but
so
with the
well.
right sound, and it sounded great. Yeah. Sounds
So
great.
then what you would do if you are doing this right this second, probably listening to this, what you would want to do is you get those all laid out on your MIDI, and then you start shuffling through some sounds. Try some crazy sounds, try a random plugin you've never used, try the stock plugins. We use stock sounds sometimes,
This is what Kilo does after I give him the tracks. That's what
right,
you're
but this
saying.
is
So
what
I
we're
know that,
hoping they would.
here's some tracks, and then he goes crazy with it.
Right. So you just go through the sounds and you kind of, two things you're going to want to do is match the vibe that you have in your head, right? And then also use sounds that work together. Like a mentor of mine said, if the sound doesn't fucking fit, don't use the fucking sound. Don't use a sound. He was just kind of pissed off one day. He was outside smoking cigarettes with me and he goes, if you have to use like 10 different things to process one sound, it doesn't fit in the song.
That's
Like
right.
usually it will just kind of fit. So just
Yeah.
run through it. What I do, my process that Bob doesn't know of making these songs work, it's like I'll get one sound I really like on the main thing first, and then I'm like, okay. And I start shuffling through all these presets that I know that I like, or like ones I've made, and I just listen to it. And once it matches, it matches. Right? When it clashes and they stand out, if you want them to stand out, then you don't want them to match. So that would be wrong. But you just
Mhm.
find what works. And that's a
Yeah.
really easy process. And then you go from there, adding what my other mentor, really great guy, Preston, would call the Mexican seasoning, right? once you have it laid out and you kind of structure the song, then you start adding the cool flares like the backwards, snares, the build ups, the pumping snares, whatever you want. You also can fuck around with the tempo, speed it up real far, slow it down real far, kind of find that sweet spot. So basically, I guess what we're saying is everything is a sweet spot. Find the sweet
Right.
spot for the sound, find the sweet spot for the tempo, find the sweet spot for the structure, and then you get to have fun and just
Right.
go crazy, do crazy shit.
Right. That's the idea with this, especially with this kind of music, is that starting, having that initial spark, that first groovy idea
Right.
that you could then structure a song around. I don't know why I'm
What
losing
is
it.
happening over there?
I don't
man?
know. I don't know. There's aliens in the window. There's my voice is there.
This is
place
the
is
most
going crazy.
entertaining episode we've ever had. I love it. It's so great. So yeah,
So-
and Bob has never heard this. I always
haven't
do
heard
this
this mix.
one thing to Bob where I'm like so pumped about our song. I call him, I'm like, dude, that fucking thing, and then I did this and that, and he's like, I've never heard it, right? Well, he has never heard this yet. So
not this mix. I
Right.
heard like a version.
you heard
2
like
days
half
ago.
of called Today Junior.
That's right. Yeah. So okay. So should I play it?
Oh,
I guess
for
I
sure.
should play it. Okay. Let's see. Let's get it going here. Whoa.
That's probably too loud.
Okay.
We didn't hear it at all.
No, but you will. Hold on. I got to do the sharing now. Tell me if it's too. That's pretty loud.
I'm gonna turn my mic down, or did it not
I'm gonna
echo?
turn it. I'm just turn it down a little bit. Okay. Hold on a second. Now I'm gonna.
It
do
is
the
very
sharing.
loud because I worked on it. Correct.
Yeah, I know.
We already know this.
All right. You ready?
I became a producer in the era of the loudness wars, so I just learned how to be way too loud.
All right. I'm gonna do it now. You ready?
Yes, I can. Yeah, we can. There's
Wait.
that.
There's there's that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, screen share. Okay, yes. Screen sharing stopped. That's good. So anyway, so that is today as it is today.
Yes. It's not
but-
done at all. We'll
no,
be
it's awesome.
restructuring it until the end, but
It is fantastic. Yeah. I loved. I like the way the lead sounded. The lead came in very late though. It was like way at the end of the song.
you mean the melody?
Yeah.
It's in the
top line
first-
then.
It's in that second chorus and the last chorus.
Oh, okay. Well, cool.
Don't worry.
Well,
It's
anyway.
not gonna stay like that, I'm sure, by the end, but
Right. Well, no, of course. It sounds amazing though, man. It's very exciting. It's very exciting that crazy little demo tape of me and my buddies jamming 30
Right.
years ago.
turned into that
Now gonna be
EDM.
this crazy EDM track. It's fantastic. All right. So we
Yes.
should do the questions now.
Absolutely.
All right. What you're gonna have to go first. 'Cause
All right.
I don't have one yet.
All right. I don't actually know my answer to this question, but I know the
Oh, okay.
question.
But
How's
you do
that
have a
sound?
question. That's good. That's good.
Yes. Yeah.
All
Yes,
right,
I
go
do.
for it.
And it's a industry question. If you could interview one person on this podcast, who would it be and why?
Oh.
Out of anybody, probably not a dead person, preferably, because
Yeah, we should-
I don't believe in ghosts, and I also don't want to believe in them by interviewing them on my podcast.
right. I should probably say a hairdresser.
Calm down, man.
I know, right? But it just keeps getting bigger.
I know, but it's so dope. It's so funny. It reminds me of myself because people are like, "Your hair is dope," and then I hide it with a hat
Yeah, right.
because I don't
right,
think it's
so-
dope, but they do.
I don't even
The
know. what it
sunset is craziness on the screen, bro, because it looks like
It's
I'm on
awesome.
a different planet, bro.
It's fantastic. All right,
This
so
is
I need to answer your
awesome.
question. I
Fuck.
need to answer your question. Who
How would I
want
ever
to
miss it?
interview? And we're going to limit it to
Alive
living
people.
people. Living
Yeah,
people,
anybody
okay.
though. It doesn't even. I mean, we've interviewed my grandma. If you haven't seen that episode, you can go find it.
Yeah, it's not
so it
going to
can
be
be
a music
anybody.
person. Yeah,
It
it
can
wasn't
be
going to be
anybody.
a music person.
Sure.
Michio Kaku.
What did you say to me? Watch your
and
mouth.
Michio Kaku. He is he's a physicist and he's very much
Oh.
alive and he is awesome. He teaches. He's famous. He's a professor, but he's an author and very famous.
Okay, then that's not my industry question. Thank you very much. I'll find another
Okay,
industry.
All right,
question.
hold on. I'm going to show you Dr. Michio Kaku. He is just fantastic. He's a wonderful, really cool person. Yeah, let's see. I'll go to his Wikipedia page. So he teaches in here, share the screen. Share the screen, Bob. Michio
You can do
Kaku
it.
is a he's
Oh,
a-
I know who that is, bro.
he's
I
awesome.
watch him on YouTube.
Yeah, he's wicked cool. And he talks about parallel universes and aliens and all kinds of stuff, but he's not a crackpot. He's like a real deal physicist. He's a teacher at the City University of New York in New York. He's a pretty cool dude. Anyway, that's who I'd like to interview. How about
And
that?
why?
I just said why, because he's a really
Oh,
cool
that
dude.
was your
No,
explanation.
well, because because he's got a book called Parallel Worlds that I read years ago, probably about 10 years ago, that I really loved, and just the idea that like there are things in science that, I mean, there's the crazy stuff nobody can prove that people like me believe, you know what I
Right.
mean? And then there's science, and I believe in science too, but I'm pretty sure there's aliens, right? And I always have been sure of it, pretty sure of it.
Didn't they just prove that because of
Exactly.
Tom DeLonge?
Well, exactly. So,
Tom Ding Dong. What?
but like Michio Kaku here, right? He's been saying all along, he's like, of course there's aliens, of course there's parallel universes, of course this is how the universe probably works, but we don't really know because universe is a big, beautiful, crazy place, and it's
Right.
got all the things you think it might have in it. And I
Right.
always appreciate that when most scientists would be like, well, there's no proof for that, so he always just said, of course. So he's cool. He's a cool dude. And now, as you point out, the government is like releases videos of UFOs and say, this is a UFO. We don't know what it is. So
Right.
now it's not crazy anymore. So he's cool.
Right.
So
So,
what's
that,
so
so
there
that
you go.
my
What's your
question
answer?
makes sense, I'm not going to answer with a music answer since You didn't, and that means
I did
mine
not.
is not a music related question. I was going to say, I'll give both answers. I was going to say the Suicide Boys because I really got a lot out of an interview they did years ago, and they were very honest about being on Suboxone and methadone. I talked about that on the show, but that made me be able to be more honest with my own fans, right? I
Right.
was like, fuck, if they can be open and honest about that and just openly say, we're on this and it fucking sucks, don't do opiates. I was like, what impact can I make on people by me being completely honest? So I would love to interview them someday. Hit us up. But if I gotta
Right on.
say like another person that's not music related, I'd probably interview the president of Ukraine, which
Well, there you go.
obviously could not happen right now
Not
because he's
really, yeah.
helping not people not die. Just you know, I would love to just like ask him like, yo, bro, like you were a comedian, right? How you get so brave? Like,
Yeah,
how
right.
did you get to the point where other countries are like, we're gonna rescue you now, and you're like, go fuck off. Like, I'm gonna stay here. These are my people. You know, like I'm not gonna just leave because I can, because people do that, right? We do that sometimes. We'll exit a situation because we can, right? And I would love to get inside of his say you're the bravest motherfucker I've ever heard of, because you don't think of comedians as that brave of people, but you do have to be brave to be a comedian, because I would love to be a comedian. People have told me I could be, but I do not have the balls to do that.
Comedians are badass, man. Comedians
Yeah.
are actors are all tell you that the best dramatic actors are comedic actors, because comedy is harder. Comedy is a lot
Right.
harder to do than anything else. So, the great comedic actors can transition. Robin Williams, for instance, Robin
Right.
Williams was Robin Williams, but then he won an Oscar for a dramatic role because he's
Right.
Robin Williams.
Right.
Or he was. God rest his soul.
That's what I
So,
was gonna say.
yep. But
He
anyway,
definitely
so there
transitioned.
you
He
go.
transitioned into that.
Amazing.
But anyways, yeah, no, him. Yeah, that's for sure the answer. Not just because like I love Ukraine and I, wish them the best and I support them in every way I have the physical capability of doing, but because to see bravery to the nth degree where someone doesn't just leave a situation because they can to save themselves, but they try to be there because he knew that like if I leave like people won't be as brave. So one act of bravery makes a fucking country of bravery. So like, yeah, that's my answer for sure.
Nice. Oh,
Okay, your question.
It just got noticeably darker like that at on your balcony there. It just went behind
Whoa.
the thing. That's crazy. Like a lot darker in like a
It's like,
second.
if you could see, it's like pink right over the edge, like where you
That's
guys
really
can't
cool.
see. It's like pink, pink,
That's
pink,
very cool, man.
like all the way, like orange and pink. Yes, it's wonderful. Now I'm in the dark, but whatever. It's your turn, Bob, for your random question.
Okay. Oh, this is a random question then. Okay. My random question. Is there any place outside of your home, right?
I am
that you-
outside of my home.
outside of like, right, well, okay, but outside of the building of your house, right?
Yeah.
Is there a place what's your little private place you like to go? Do you have like a place you go and like you meditate or whatever where you
Yeah,
just
I'm
go
looking
chill?
at it right now over this way. There is this okay, so there's the hill with the Hollywood sign, which is right over, I can look at it right there. And then there's like another hill where if you look to your left, you can see the Hollywood sign. Well, there's this road with this lookout, like little pull off. It's kind of like a road with all the houses and stuff. I think it might be the Hollywood Hills. I don't know.
Right.
But there's this place where the tourist vans will pull off. It's a little parking lot, and they'll pull off, and you can go up and take pictures of the Hollywood sign behind you, because it's like the Hollywood sign's on the other hill, but it's directly behind this other little hill, and stuff. And so, but you can go up there and sit, and what you're seeing if you're sitting parked in any of the parking spots is all of LA. All of
That's
it. You're
awesome.
looking over LA. And so I just happened to
I know
find
I know the
that-
spot you're talking about.
Oh
I know
yeah,
what you
dude. So that is literally my spot. I found it with my friend, my ex-friend, the one who broke up with our friendship, literally said, but I love him still, whatever. It doesn't but he showed it to me, And then I've gone up there, you know, tons of times with the most epic one was this friend of mine that was a girl, not my girlfriend or anything, but she was like a good friend of mine. We went up there the first time we hung out, and it was raining surprisingly in LA, which never happens. It was raining, and we just saw all of LA getting rained on. Like
That's
it,
awesome.
it was like a transcendental experience to listen to like old emo music that you listened to as a teenager with this
Yeah,
hot girl looking out over LA getting dumped on with rain. Like
that's good stuff.
it was amazing. It was great.
Yeah,
So that's my
good stuff.
spot. What about you,
Nice.
Bob?
That's a great answer. Well, I can show you my spot.
Show me your
It
spot.
is-
I'm glad you
well,
know what I'm talking about, where I'm
I
talking
do.
about, by the
yeah.
way.
So there you go. Right there.
Oh, I love
That
it.
is that's in my backyard. That's I was going to tell you about
But
how
that's not
I-
outside your home. If that's your
well,
backyard,
it's outside.
does
Well, it's
not
not.
count,
It's not really
sir.
my back. It's in. Remember, I mentioned that there's
Mm-hmm.
10 acres of wood behind my house. So I said outside the building of your home. This is it's probably about a quarter mile behind my house into the woods. And it's
Okay.
just beautiful. There's other
It is
spots out
beautiful.
here. Yeah, there's woods. There's like there's a stream that goes through my property. It's a really beautiful place. Anyway, that's it. That's my
It's
spot.
awesome that your answer. Oh, it's your background.
Yeah,
Got
this is my
That's
Facebook
awesome.
page here. So there you go. There's me and Todd playing.
Oh, that's great. I love that video.
And there's Kilo.
It's wonderful.
And there's
Um,
me kicking ass on the
But
road.
you
All right.
guys, what was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say it's funny that your place is with trees, which is what your dad said.
That's
Don't-
right. Wow,
that's
thank
interesting,
you.
right.
That's awesome. I didn't put that together myself.
Oh,
That's-
I thought you were kind of being
No.
sneaky and like
No,
bringing
that's
it back
excellent.
around like a good comedian.
love it.
Like I studied comedy for a long time with my first dead friend, the one who won the race to death. And I studied it for years because we were going to do this comedy duo where like I'm on stage and then he starts heckling me and making fun of me because I can't stand up. He'd be like, "Well, I want half my money back." And then I'd make him come stand on the stage behind me awkwardly. But anyways, he died before we could do that. But I do know good comedy, best comedians bring jokes back around when you don't expect it. They'll
Right.
say the same thing again that has to do with an earlier joke. And then you're like, you're a professional. This is what you do. So I thought you were doing
right.
that when you were like,
Yeah.
and now
that's what I meant.
trees, So
That's
okay,
what I was doing.
my turn for industry question.
Mhm.
Yes, I want to come up with a really, really good one. I do. Okay, so I was thinking about this the other day, which I was like, I think me and Bob should do this on Zoom sometime without doing it on the podcast, but do it. I was gonna say, let's go through, like, let's show people the most influential songs that we've had in our lives throughout our lives, right?
Oh, okay.
Which,
Nice.
like, it doesn't have to be your favorite song, and it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be me telling you it's All Star by Smash Mouth and then Bob making fun of me.
I would-
But
that
see, I went back around to something
was good. That was good. Yeah.
from like a month ago or 2 months
Comedy
ago.
genius. Yes.
So,
Good stuff.
no, but not like that. Like where it's like just a song. It doesn't have to be the top song, but a song that like is one of the songs when you like think of music or you want to show your new. Well, you don't have a new girlfriend, but like when you meet a
No.
new friend, I was gonna say your new girlfriend, but that's
No.
and when you meet a new friend, you're like, sharing music with each other and stuff. Like, what's one song that's like you really like it and why? What's the vibe about it that makes you
Right.
feel that?
That's a good question. I mean, my normal answer for that would be albums. I mean, I'm a big album.
I mean,
guy
you can
for
do
a-
album as long as it's not like your favorite. We're not doing favorite. We're doing like most. You bring it up. It is definitely amongst the songs you will always listen to, or
Right,
album.
right.
The album. Let's do album. Do album. Yeah.
All right. I would probably say I'll just pick. Honestly, there's going to be a million of them, but one that I would say probably I will guaranteed always go back to and always love is I like sharing the screen, so I'll share the screen.
Yeah.
Because why the hell not? let's see, is, hold please, hold please, hold please. But how could that not be the first one that pops up? I gotta get to the right screen here. Spotify's been weird lately. I think. You know what? They what the hell? Okay, I'm almost there. Nope. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot of setup for nothing, just to show a Spotify.
Don't
screen.
worry, I was just watching
But-
the sunset.
But it is the Beastie Boys. Check your head.
Oh, fuck yes. You know what's funny? Didn't I say when I first started working with you that you were kind of like sounding like your voice kind of sounded like them and the
Oh, man, I
Butthole
love the
Surfers?
Beasties. Yeah,
Remember?
I can't even tell you how much I love the Beasties.
Oh yeah, dude.
love
I
them.
can remember the first time I bought one of their albums.
Can you hear that?
Oh yeah.
This is a song, the first song. So that's Jimmy James. It's the first song of the album. It is dedicated to. It's actually Jimmy James is Jimi Hendrix. So when Jimi
Oh, that's
Hendrix,
awesome.
yeah, when Jimi Hendrix came up before he got famous, he had a band in New York City called Jimmy James and the Blue Flames, and that's when Chaz Chandler, the bass player from the Animals, discovered him and brought him to England. And then he said, "Your name is cool. Use your real name." And then I got these two guys, the bass player and drummer, to play with, and now you're the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and that's what they did. So
That's
Hendrix is
great.
his real name. But anyway, so when the Beastie Boys made this album, they wrote this song, Jimmy James, and the lyrics, if you listen to it, they talk about it. To give a shout out to much inspiration. Oh, it's it's all about Jimmy. But
Yeah.
but they couldn't clear the samples. They had sampled like a bunch of Jimi Hendrix songs, and the Jimi Hendrix estate wouldn't clear it, so they had to replace all the samples with different. It's still cool as hell though. But then- anyway, there you go. I could listen to this whole album all
That's
night.
great, dude.
This is one of my
I-
favorite albums of all time.
I will have to point out you once again with an answer, or you once again brought it back to something else that you had said, which is you did say, but when record labels make you change your name, it's a bad idea, blah blah blah, or whatever you did say in the beginning of this episode.
Right, yeah, I did
But guess
complain
what?
about that.
You just explained a very good scenario where they did change it to a great name. Because what if we were sitting here in this day and age going, Jimmy James was the best guitar player? Does that even sound fucking
Oh,
right
yeah.
at
That's
all?
true. That's a
Like
good
coming
point.
out of my mouth, that doesn't sound right. But
Oh
to
yeah, I
Jimmy,
thought you were talking about the Beasties. That's a really good point.
no,
Yeah.
right? No, about changing the name, right?
Yeah.
And think about
Right.
it, like Jimi Hendrix. Maybe it's because we've said it our whole lives, but
Mhm.
it's like a fucking legendary name, right? But Jimmy James, what the fuck is that? Is he a
Yeah.
porn star? It's the first question I would ask you. That's what
have
I
a-
would just automatically think.
I have a friend who's a guitar player, and I always call him Jimmy James for that reason,
Right,
because of the Hendrix.
because
But
he's a
that-
porn
now,
star.
Now I'm
Got
thinking of him as a porn star.
You're
Awesome.
never gonna forget. He has a mustache, right?
Right.
No, anyways.
he does.
but
have a
he-
mustache.
Oh man, I just ruined your
That's wonderful.
friendship.
So funny.
But no, yeah, but you just made it a good opposite thing than what you said. Sometimes changing the name
yeah, you're
was a
absolutely
great
right.
idea. That was
Probably
the
is every
Jimi
time.
Hendrix Experience, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that also sounds like a porn movie, but whatever. Like, it's so dope. Okay.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
anyway, there you go. So my answer
Okay.
was my answer. The Beastie Boys,
So-
check your head.
I'm going to be shiesty about my answer, and you're gonna have to tell me a certain vibe because I would have no idea how to answer this because
Okay.
there's so many. So just tell me a vibe, and I'll tell you the name of the song. Or
Okay. Rock.
it's not a vibe. Rock is not a vibe,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Punk. Pop punk.
That's
you-
not a vibe. That's a genre. But okay.
Well, I thought that's what you're talking about. A
No,
vibe.
meaning like a vibe when I
um,
want to feel a certain way, like
All right.
like hype
Um,
or sad or mystical or whatever.
Okay. All right. Just sort of like if you want to just be sort of shallow and happy. You don't want to be deep. You don't want to think too much.
Shallow
about
and
it. Just-
happy.
Yeah, just kind of like, blissful ignorance, just enjoying yourself and not thinking about anything.
Oh God, it's a great one because I have to think about it. That's why that's so great. Obviously, my very first choice is still gonna be fucking All Star by Smash Mouth
That's
because
wonderful.
that is literally what that song is, but that's not my answer. It's not my
Okay.
answer
All right. All right.
because I actually have a good. That would have been my answer like a week or two ago, right? But I actually have a good answer. And you might have to show it on the screen because it's actually a new song.
Oh,
That
okay.
recently came out. It's Cult by what's his name? Steve Aoki and Grandson. Which Grandson is a fucking legendary fucking name, by the way. Grandson is
Okay.
dope. Look him up. Fucking
Okay,
legend.
What's the name of the song?
It's called a
Cult.
Cult.
Oh, I found it. I found it.
Yeah,
Cult with a K.
So play
All right,
like
you
10
want me-
seconds of that. That's my
Sure, yeah,
song. Because most people probably don't know this.
Hold please. I did not know it.
It's great.
Spotify. All right. Do you see the screen there?
Yes.
All
Wonderful.
right. Awesome.
I got the weight of the world on my back. It made me slip right through the cracks. It caused the chain reaction.
It's so good.
I escape to a world here with you. Up is down, red is blue. We see through all the destruction.
It's the part. It's the part.
I should join the call. At least they'll tell me it's not my fault. That the world's a fucking circus. That my life is fucking worthless.
Hell yeah. Okay. I love that. It's so blissfully ignorant. That what he's saying there is why that's my answer. The ignorance behind that is like it makes me go, you're right. Like all these things I blame myself for and all the stupid things I think about all the time don't fucking matter. If joining a cult would be a better answer than dealing with this myself, then that's you know what I mean. So that's
Wow.
my answer, even though it's probably not what you were going for because it's still kind of
No,
deep,
it's-
but the deepness is what makes it
I
blissfully
like it.
ignorant.
No, I
So,
like it. I like it.
okay,
That's good stuff.
You've got to do your question before the sun's gone, or we're all going to disappear. All of us. We're all bye bye. Okay, so it's your industry question, right?
Didn't I just ask that or no? No, that was yours. That was sorry. I was giving you a vibe question for you. Right. Okay. Well, what is
Wait, yeah,
What-
yeah. That's right. That's right. Never mind. You're right. Go ahead.
what is your
Nothing happened.
what is your favorite sad song?
Sad song. Favorite sad song. Youth by Daughter.
Okay, wow. That was a definitive answer and an
Absolutely,
unexpected one.
100%.
Let's see. You want to play a little bit of that?
Oh yeah, this song is so wonderful, bro. It's like so fucking wonderful.
All right, hold on a second. We're gonna
So
share the
wonderful.
screen. Go there. All right, do you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice guitar.
Shadows settle on the place that you left. Our minds are troubled by the emptiness. Destroy the middle, it's a waste of time. From the past.
That's very
It is.
nice.
Wonderful
That's-
song.
That's beautiful.
Just
Beautiful.
such a good song. Even though it's sad, I don't get sad. But like because she just so I guess we're seeing inside of the psyche of Kilo House today. We've seen
Wow.
my blissful ignorance and my so seems like I have some problems that I haven't dealt with, but it's not true. That song doesn't make me sad. It's written sadly though.
No, yeah, the question wasn't like what makes you sad. The question
Right.
was what's your favorite sad song?
Yeah.
So so my answer here is also probably unexpected. This is I'll pause it for a second. So if anybody knows me personally, they'll know that my favorite rock and roll band of all time is The Replacements. I love The Replacements. Love Paul Westerberg is one of my idols. He's a great, great songwriter from the 90s and 80s and 90s, mostly 80s, really. Anyway, I love The Replacements. And this is the song Here Comes a Regular is it's just the greatest sad drinking song. Like Paul Westerberg's kind of notorious. They're notorious alcoholics. And
Oh, good.
and so he wrote about it a lot. Like he was a very typical, like sort of self-loathing alcoholic. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he'd get drunk and then write songs about what a terrible person he is for being drunk all the time. And,
Right.
or how terrible the world is. That's why he's drunk. So this is Here Comes a Regular is literally a song. It's a song about you have to have lived this life to understand it. But I have, I promise you, I've been a regular at many bars over the years. And when you get there and you're a regular, somebody shows up at a bar, where everybody else is showing up at 10 o'clock at night, the regular showing up at 5, you know what I mean? And
Right.
you're sitting there and you're chilling out and you're talking to the bartenders, your friend you talk to every day. And you just kind of, and the other regulars wander in and out while like the rabble, the regular people are hanging around the bar. You don't care about them, but you know about the people that sit at the bar with. And that's what this song is. It's a song called Here Comes a Regular. It is by definition terribly sad and pathetic. It's also just like kind of like, I don't know, it's the sickness of alcohol is that sort of cool factor. That sort of like that element of I don't know, belonging, that sort of like, there's a culture to it, to being
Right.
drunk, and you identify it with it. And that's what the song is about. So, I'll just play a little bit of it.
Well, a person can work up a mean thirst after a hard day of nothing much at all.
That's a great line.
The summer's past, it's too late to cut the grass.
Gets to the chorus.
There ain't much straight in the mood.
I'm gonna skip to the chorus here real
For
quick.
sure.
To take my place and back for loud mouths with food, and everybody wants to be special here. They call your name out loud and clear. Here comes a regular.
You got your beer in hand.
Yeah, right.
Call out your name. Here come a regular. Am I the only one here today?
So there you go. That's Here Comes a Regular. Beautiful.
So
song.
before we
Terrible
go,
song.
Bob, since Sunset Doma's going away, and we are talking about sad songs, there's a part of one of your songs / our songs that I would like you to play for everybody, because when I was listening to it when I was watching the sunset last night, my dad was at my apartment. I explained to him that there's this one part. Oh no, play it on the album, bro, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Play it on the album, because there's one guitar that when it comes in, it literally like speaks to you as this sad thing that's just like amazing.
what
It's Zen Seeds, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Right. that
Um,
makes sense.
And because I'm not doing this to promote us, even though I like doing that as well. I'm doing it
promote
because
them,
you
I know.
said favorite sad songs, and that was going to be one of them. That's why I looked over to my right when I was answering. I was going through a list in my head, and that was like top 3. There's this one guitar in the middle. Fuck, I don't know exactly where it is.
I know
Oh,
where it
it's
is.
where it was when I sent you the video last night. Yes.
Okay. Well, there's 2 guitar solos, right? So you want me to zoom?
So let me
Oh,
just
here-
explain to the people what this feels like to me before you play it.
Right.
Feels like this guitar or this person playing the guitar is like suddenly like coming to grips with their sadness. It's that moment where being sad doesn't feel bad anymore because you're okay with being sad. And then as this guitar part changes back into the normal or guitar part, it feels like where you kind of come to say, I don't give a fuck anymore. It's fine. Like you're not in a bad way. Your brain goes, I'm okay with it. You know, like first it's I'm okay with not being okay. Then it's I'm okay with this. It's
Well,
okay.
there are two guitar solos in the song, and the
I think it's the
second
first one.
is-
The second one.
The second one is my favorite solo.
The one with a
I've
different
ever-
sounding guitar,
yeah,
like completely.
yeah,
So play not right where it is, but before it a little bit.
okay.
Yeah, no, that part. Okay,
Right.
so
So this is like my favorite guitar solo I've ever done right here.
it
There you
yeah,
go.
dude. Even listening to it on our own podcast, I got like flush feeling. It's that feeling of like your friends telling you a really sad story, like of their grandma dying or their best friend dying, and you just like feel their pain. Like you just feel sad with them. And I feel sad with that fucking guitar every time I hear it. Like it's like that guitar is just mourning something happened. I don't know.
Well, you know, I mean, I recorded that, I don't know, just that was pretty recent. That was probably a few months ago. That was like, I just did
But
that,
not a
that
few months
solo.
ago. No,
Well,
but
yeah,
no, I
well, I
worked on
mean,
that
like-
before we even had a podcast.
right. So a year ago, I probably recorded the guitar solo about a year ago. Everything else on the song I recorded probably years before, 5-6 years before that. But that guitar solo I did recently. And
Isn't that the song that I said, Bob, were you getting
yeah,
off alcohol when you wrote this? And you
yeah,
said
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I didn't
So
realize that, but
I
yeah.
bet that guitar solo was you bringing back up those old emotions and kind of
There's a lot
mourning
there.
the
Yeah.
pain of your old self type thing. It
There's
really
a
feels
lot.
kind of like that.
No, there's a lot in there, and it's like I said, it's my favorite solo I think I've ever done. It's awesome.
It's amazing that it
beautiful song.
grips me that hard and you're not speaking words.
Okay.
I'm
That's
blown
really
away
nice.
that like I get a visceral reaction. My body becomes flushed. I get a little sweaty. I start tearing up from no words. You're not putting
No.
thoughts in my head, but you're putting pure emotion onto my body,
That's
into
beautiful.
my
Thank you.
head. So
That's-
great job.
that's
Go
awesome.
listen to Then See if you guys haven't heard it. The whole song's good. The whole song is not a sad song. It's technically not a sad song. So
Well, it's an instrumental. It's just a
yeah, it's great. Okay, guys.
song.
Thank you for joining the Porch of Static. I guess we'll be since until it gets really cold out and the nighttime is here beforehand. We'll probably be doing our live streams from my porch, so we will become the house/Porch of Static for the next few months. So great job. Go look us up on Instagram. Go look us up on TikTok. Is actually where we thrive. That kind of stuff.
Right on.
Have a great
All right,
night. And be
guys.
blessed. And don't.
Don't
I
what?
don't know.
Yeah, was it? Have a 7-Up, eat a moon pie, stop killing each other, whatever it is.
Yeah. Don't kill people.
Right on.
There
All
you
right.
go. Message of the day.
Adios.
Bye bye.
Good night, brother. Talk to you
You
later.
too.